At Lakewood, care isn't just something we provide. It's something this community and people just like you make possible. It's the moment of diagnosis doesn't mean leaving home. It's strength found in the middle of uncertainty. It's hope that shows up right when it's needed most. Because of you, a mom gets to fight cancer surrounded by her family. Because of you, financial stress doesn't stand in the way of treatment. And because of you, someone living with Parkinson's keeps moving, building strength, and reclaiming independence. We're going to see two stories, both quite different, but made possible for precisely the same reason. Because of you.
My name is Michelle Anderson. I'm a PTA. I have been a PTA for almost 29 years. When I started the class last September, not one person knew each other in the class. And as you can see from today, they love each other and they support each other. Power Moves is 4 distinct exercises. And it's with powering up, power rock, power reach, and power step. A lot of them have issues with walking. Maybe they have the short shuffle steps, so taking that big step, that power up, reaching for the next direction. We did some turning and twisting today, backing away from a counter. Are they trying to get out of their bed or the recliner, in and out of a vehicle? I have taught several of them, it was quite shocking for most of them, teach them how to fall and how to get back up safely. Many of them had not been on the floor purposefully for a long time, so getting them onto their hands and knees and then into a standing position has been very empowering for all of them. It's a fun class. A lot of times there's dancing in between the stations or goofing off a little bit. Other times it's, okay, I have this surgery coming up, and everybody supported that person who had the surgery. So it's a huge support group, both for the participant and the caregivers.
So we're Pam and Gary Robinson. We live 3 miles north of New York Mills. So New York Mills is Minnesota is our hometown. So in 2016, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. One night we were watching TV and my hand was just kind of shaking. And you said, how long has that been going on? And I said, like 2 years, but I figure it's just at the end of the day, and I've been gardening or something, or I do artwork and I bend wire and it's just fatigue. And then without telling me, what did you do?
Well, I had noticed other symptoms of Parkinson's. I'm Gary, I'm a retired family physician and practiced in New York Mills my whole career. And I noticed other symptoms of Parkinson's. One of them is Parkinson's folks lose the muscles of facial expression. So my wife's smile disappeared, that kind of stuff. Also, all Parkinson's patients have trouble with gait and balance. They have a forward-leaning posture and a shuffling gait. And so she unfortunately got an early diagnosis because I noticed the symptoms.
The first 8 years was, I say, my honeymoon with Parkinson's because I didn't have overwhelming disabilities yet. And I just said very ignorantly, this doesn't even, there's no pain to it. Are you sure I have Parkinson's? And I went to Mills and I would be in a grocery store and people would say, how you doing? And I'd say, I have Parkinson's. Can you believe it? And then when it hit, really, was 8 years later. And all my faculties started falling apart. And there's a big component to it, and that's depression. And it was looking at a future with a husband who's 15 years older than me that I was prepared to take care of. Looking forward to taking care of him. And the two tables got turned. Gary's sister, she saw it on Facebook with the hospital Facebook page. When we signed up for this, Michelle, the instructor, I knew she was at her limit at the cutoff amount. And she said, you know what, Pam, we're not going to turn people away. If you want to be here, I will be here for you. I can't drive anymore. So Gary is the driver for us. And he gets, I swear to God, as much out of this as I do. I look forward to coming. The times we haven't come, it's because of bad weather. I didn't know anybody. And as soon as you sit down, You know, I'm looking around and checking to see if it was a couple, which one has Parkinson's. And I'm looking for all the signs of it. And then after a while, I thought, well, that's just stupid. They're a human being. I go up to them and ask them, you know. It's so different to talk to a person with Parkinson's when you have Parkinson's. There's a common language, and there's a common, there's fears that yesterday or 2 days ago, one of the participants, we were waiting to change stations, and he goes, does the top of your head itch? And I go, oh my God, I know, it's one of my dopamine medicines. And he goes, and he has a shaved head. And I said, luckily you have a shaved head. I did not look good bald. But it was just like, it kind of eroded my fears of, now I have an itchy head. What's next, you know? So it's a group that is like a pack. You just out to help each other.
There's an old phrase that misery likes company, because there's a big emotional component to having Parkinson's. But I've changed that to recovery needs company. It's motivating, and motivating for me, being older, to see people with this disease work hard at maintaining their function.
It's not a party, but it's
fun. The biggest thing that I see is the camaraderie of the group. This is fun. Patients come and say it's fun, and they greet each other in the waiting room before the class starts, and we all have conversations, and we all get to know one another and know each other's struggles and successes.
And it's something to look forward to. I haven't looked forward to things in a long time. I really struggled with depression, and I've been hospitalized for it. And it's always, I turn a corner when I get active. And this is not something that I'm kicking and screaming not to come to. I'm almost kicking and screaming to go to it. I wasn't a marathon runner before this, and I'm not going to be one after it, but I'm sure going to be happier, healthier, and have a vision that I'm working towards. But I'm trying to live my life as 100% as I can with what I've got to work with.
For those from Lakewood who are donating to this Parkinson's Power Moves class, I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
My name is Kara. I'm 39. I'm from Ferndale, born and raised. I am a wife. I have 4 boys, active boys. I teach 2nd grade at Ferndale Area Christian Academy, and my husband farms on our family farm. It is complete chaos. We're running constantly, chasing boys, all doing activities, and we're busy between farming and work and church. We're just always on the go. So I came in October 15th for a routine physical, and when I went in prior to that in the summer, I had come in because I had some bruising, but I had no other symptoms. And so my doctor had put in for blood work, and being busy like I am, I kept putting it off, and I never went in to do that blood work. So when I came in for my physical, she said, well, you didn't do that blood work, let's do it now. So we did the blood work at about 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, and by 10 o'clock I knew that I had hairy cell leukemia. I started chemo November 3rd. So it was just over 2 weeks from when I started the very first day of chemotherapy, which blew my mind that I don't think I had even processed having cancer, and I was already in starting chemo. And I'm not sure I would have got that somewhere else if I would have had to go and set up care and get everything going. It's hard to get the ball rolling somewhere else. So the fact that I was already in doing treatment before I knew, I think it dawned on me that I actually had cancer at the point that I was doing treatment. You know, there was really no waiting period. I got diagnosed. The next week I was doing the bone marrow biopsy. The next week all the results came back, and we went ahead and did it. And so it was very fast-tracked, but it also didn't feel rushed. One of the things that was the most important and meant the most to me was being able to do all of my treatment so close to home. Having 4 boys, and then, you know, my husband was all of a sudden thrown into this single parent role. It's scary when your mom goes through cancer. It's huge. And so for my kids to at least know that I was home, you know, and I think it helped too with family. We could have family around taking care of the kids. And from initial diagnosis all the way through to today, I have never had to go anywhere else besides Lakewood to do any of my treatment. Everybody in my whole journey at Lakewood was fantastic. When I first got diagnosed, one of the scans that they also had me do was a mammogram. And when I went in, I knew who the tech was and she knew me. And I had told her, I'm here for this, but I just got diagnosed with leukemia. And she had tears in her eyes. And then at the end of my appointment, she asked me if she could pray for me. And so, you know, it was things like that the whole way through my journey that made you feel like it was more of a family, you know? Yeah, and not a business, that you weren't just a number or you weren't just another tally to put into the brand new cancer center, you know, that it was somebody who really genuinely cared about your health and your journey. When your treatment process feels expedited from 2 weeks, you don't have a lot of time to plan to not be working for a month. And having 4 kids and my husband farming, it's not like our income isn't needed. And so I knew that I had some money coming in from short-term disability and stuff, but I still hadn't processed how it was going to affect my family financially. I also didn't know that there were organizations out there like the Lakewood Oncology Foundation. So on my second day of chemo, Callie, the social worker, came in and she just sat down and talked with me, and she joked around when she sat down that I'm the person that knows what you need before you need it. And I thought, oh, that's so cliche. You know, that like everybody thinks that they're that person, you know? And she said, I really think that you should apply for the Oncology Foundation, some of the funds from that. And of course, my initial reaction was, no, it's for sick people, it's for people who can't afford it, you know, things like that. And I still put her off again, and she goes, well, we're here. The next day she came in and she said, I filled out the application for you and you were accepted. And I was blown away, and she handed me funds in an envelope. And it really, the next week, it all of a sudden kind of hit me that it does take a toll financially. It is a huge hit. Like, even if you get disability, you're not getting the full amount that you were supposed to get. And we were a month and a half out from Christmas. Cancer doesn't come at a moment where you can afford it. Cancer doesn't come at a moment where you can plan for it. And so having a foundation that so freely gave with no strings attached, that just meant a lot. That even in a situation where I almost didn't feel worthy of getting these funds, because there were people sicker than me. There were people more sick. To just be given that, it was very humbling, but it made me so thankful that people would give of their money for people like me. I mean, first of all, thank you. But I think that if they've ever questioned if their funds were going and helping people and making a difference, they are. I think the biggest thing is that your financial donation is making an impact beyond what you can see. It's very scary to go through something like this, and it's very scary to hear that you have cancer. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's gonna be okay, and you're gonna get the care here, and that you're not alone.